out here, frozen to the marrow. Out on these pavements, trust is a fatal mistake. Every single second, I am terrified to close my eyes. I don't have a single soul left in this world. I spend 24 hours a day completely by myself. Right now, my immediate mission is just to figure out how to get my prosthetic leg back. I let my guard down, fell asleep on a piece of cardboard, and someone literally unstrapped and stole my first prosthetic limb. They stole it while I was unconscious. I've been forced to stay awake for 5 consecutive days and nights now because it's simply too freezing to sleep. If I stop moving my body for an hour, the cold takes over. And last week, I was brutally ambushed and jumped by a group of 9 people. 9 boys. Right now, I am carrying a broken arm, a shattered hand, and 6 fractured ribs. There's absolutely nothing I can do about the physical pain. The police don't do a damn thing. They look right past you. They simply do not care. Welcome to Homeless U.S. News. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the historic cradle of American liberty, the birthplace of the Constitution, and a city defined by brotherly love. But tonight, far beyond the pristine tourist monuments and the colonial plazas, a harrowing street crisis is unfolding in full public view. Right now, over 5,500 human beings across the metropolitan grid have no place to call home. More than 1,100 of them are completely unsheltered. In heavily impacted corridors like Kensington, human beings stand completely frozen on the concrete sidewalks, their physical bodies bent forward at unnatural angles, their eyes vacant and hollow, moving to the concrete landscape like living shadows. They are moving in states that many onlookers describe as zombie-like. Not because they have lost their fundamental humanity, but because the absolute grip of chemical dependency has systematically drained their physical strength, chewed up their awareness, and completely erased the stable lives they once built. This is the unfiltered reality of human displacement in Philadelphia today. It is a crisis where intense physical suffering has been transformed into a permanent feature of the urban landscape, something thousands of people drive past and ignore every single day on their way to work. How did a city built on the ideals of freedom and community reach a point where thousands of its own citizens are left to fracture on the pavement? Today, we are stripping away the sanitized political rhetoric to bring you the raw, heartbreaking truth of the Philadelphia street emergency. If you believe these human stories deserve a platform and that journalism should never look away from the vulnerable, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on all notifications. Let's walk these blocks together. Drop a comment below right now. How does it feel to know that a disabled man can have his prosthetic leg stolen while sleeping on a sidewalk in America? Let's uncover the truth. Part 1. The Silent Acceleration. Philadelphia by the Numbers. To understand the true depth of the crisis unfolding in the birthplace of America, you have to look past the historic brick facades and analyze the sheer mathematical velocity of human displacement. According to the latest comprehensive data from the official point-in-time counts compiled by municipal housing agencies, Philadelphia is facing its most severe homelessness emergency in its modern history. We are looking at a documented population of 5,516 human beings trapped in the cycle of absolute housing loss on any given night, representing a major 6% increase in a single year. But the statistic that reveals the true physical danger of this landscape is the explosion of the unsheltered population. Exactly 1,178 individuals are living completely unsheltered, sleeping on freezing sidewalks, inside commercial doorways, or under concrete highway bypasses, representing a massive 21% jump in just 12 months. At the same time, chronic homelessness has skyrocketed, trapping 1,612 adults in a permanent, repeating loop of displacement where the street becomes their primary ecosystem. These figures are not abstract markers on a policy report. They are living, breathing human beings carrying their entire material existence through the city streets inside rolling shopping carts, heavy backpacks, or plastic grocery bags. The crisis has completely bled out of traditional boundaries, becoming highly visible across Center City, North Philadelphia, and South Philadelphia. You see people standing completely motionless for hours on end, hunched forward in states of total physical exhaustion, completely disconnected from the bustling economy moving around them. These scenes reveal how a perfect storm of extreme housing scarcity, structural poverty, untreated psychological trauma, and a hyperpotent substance crisis have transformed daily survival into a brutal war of attrition. The stability that the middle class takes for granted has been systematically stripped away from these thousands, leaving them to navigate a hostile urban environment with zero safety nets. It is a mass displacement happening in broad daylight, forcing us to confront the reality that the floor of our society has completely given way for the most vulnerable among us. Part 2. The Kensington Corridor, the blocks of deprivation. The absolute epicenter of this humanitarian crisis is found along a 50-block radius in North Philadelphia, known as Kensington. What was once a thriving, bustling manufacturing hub that powered the industrial growth of the city has been transformed into one of the most visible symbols of street vulnerability in the Western world. Tonight, Kensington carries more than 35% of the entire unsheltered population of Philadelphia, with hundreds of individuals sleeping directly on the concrete along Kensington Avenue, huddled beneath old railway bypasses, and trapped inside abandoned industrial structures. Life along this corridor is an endless exercise in physical and mental degradation. Entire city blocks are lined with makeshift nylon tents, blue plastic tarps, weathered blankets, and shopping carts pressed tightly against rusted chain-link fences and vacant storefronts. Residents remain anchored to the same patch of dirt for months or years because they have absolutely nowhere else to go. They are permanently exposed to the bitter northeast winter cold, the suffocating summer humidity, the constant roar of the elevated train line, and the predatory element of the street. The daily routine in Kensington is dictated by the absolute mechanics of primal survival. Every hour is consumed by a frantic effort to protect your meager belongings from theft, find a scrap of food, secure a drop of clean water, or find a public restroom where you won't be immediately chased out by security. The psychological toll of this existence is permanent and bone deep. You are forced to live your most private, vulnerable moments in full view of a critical public. Yet, behind the visible chaos of the avenue, the humanity of these individuals refuses to completely die. You see people sharing a thin blanket in a blizzard. You see a neighbor helping a disabled veteran navigate the broken pavement. You see informal networks of survival born out of absolute necessity. Kensington is a mirror reflecting the vast canyon between our society's wealth and our willingness to protect human life, proving that when a community is abandoned by infrastructure, survival becomes a daily miracle. Part 3. Tranq and the Fog of Immobility. We cannot present an honest, comprehensive investigation into the Philadelphia crisis without looking directly at the devastating chemical reality that has taken over the streets of Kensington. The area has become a national marketplace for a hyperpotent and destructive drug supply, specifically the combination of synthetic fentanyl and an animal sedative known as xylazine or tranq. These low-cost, highly accessible chemicals have fundamentally altered the biology of addiction on the streets, turning a severe public health problem into an absolute catastrophe. Xylazine introduces a horrific layer of physical and mental decay. It causes deep, non-healing skin ulcerations and raw abscesses that can break out across the body regardless of how the substance is consumed, desperately requiring specialized medical care that life on the pavement rarely allows. Psychologically, the substance drops users into an intense, trance-like state of sedation. You see human beings frozen in place on the sidewalks for hours at a time, their bodies bent completely double, barely responsive to traffic, loud noises, or the world around them. This chemical fog turns the street corner into a physical trap. The substances offer a brief, desperate escape from the trauma and physical pain of the concrete, but they also keep the individual locked in place. The sedation is so profound that people lose the cognitive ability to protect their belongings, keep track of social service appointments, or seek professional help. They are caught in a vicious loop. They use the chemical to survive the psychological horror of the sidewalk, but the chemical is exactly what keeps them anchored to the dirt. Behind these vacant expressions are people who once held professional careers, maintained family relationships, and had plans for the future before the quicksand of dependency pulled them down. It is a biological emergency magnified by the environment of the street, proving that you cannot successfully heal a mind when its only sanctuary is a concrete alleyway. Part 4. The revolving door of emergency shelters. Philadelphia opens thousands of temporary emergency shelter cots every single night across the metropolitan area. But for the thousands of human beings attempting to escape the streets, the exit door of these facilities too often leads straight back to the concrete sidewalk. According to the latest municipal housing data, chronic homelessness across the city surged by an alarming 49% in a single year, highlighting a profound structural breakdown in the transition from emergency relief to permanent stability. While over 4,300 people managed to secure a temporary mat or bed on the night of the official count, the real tragedy unfolds in the weeks and months that follow. The traditional shelter system is engineered as a short-term crisis stop, not a long-term home. Many individuals are forced to leave these facilities early in the morning, carrying their entire lives in a plastic bag, sent out onto the asphalt with nothing more than a list of disconnected phone numbers and a schedule for distant case management offices. They spend their daylight hours walking miles across the city to attend mandatory appointments, try and prove their eligibility for housing programs, only to face the same crushing question every evening: where will I be safe tonight? Without the immediate, stabilizing foundation of permanent supportive housing, reliable job training pipelines, consistent mental health follow-through, and affordable rent options, temporary shelter becomes little more than a brief rest stop on an endless, exhausting loop of poverty. The fatigue inflicted by this system runs bone deep. People carry the quiet, crushing shame of constantly having to explain the gaps in their employment history to automated systems that do not care. The city currently offers roughly 5,200 units of permanent supportive housing that combine a roof with social services. But the demand is a vast canyon, and the supply is a drop in the bucket. When support ends abruptly due to funding cuts or rigid timelines, individuals are pushed right back into survival mode, forced to hide their blankets in bushes, bathe in gas station sinks, and try to hold on to their self-worth while every structure around them treats them as temporary. Part 5. The Fractured Metropolis. Neighborhoods under strain. The weight of the homelessness emergency in Philadelphia does not stop at the edge of the nylon tents. It seeps directly into the everyday rhythm of the city, fundamentally altering how thousands of housed residents and small business owners experience their own communities. In neighborhoods like Kensington, Center City, and parts of South Philadelphia, the familiar public spaces have taken on a heavy, tense atmosphere as the crisis grows in density and visibility. According to recent neighborhood impact reports compiled by the Philadelphia City Planning Commission, a striking 64% of residents in heavily impacted zones describe a severe drop in their overall sense of daily comfort, community safety, and neighborhood pride compared to just 3 years earlier. Families who lived on the same block for generations describe a quiet, painful erosion of their civic routines. Parents no longer allow their children to play on the front steps after school. Evening walks are shortened or abandoned entirely. And public parks that were once vibrant hubs for community gatherings now carry an undercurrent of deep unease. Small business operators are carrying a massive financial and emotional burden. They watch foot traffic decline and sales drop, not because of a shift in the market, but because of the constant presence of human suffering and public distress right outside their storefront windows. They find themselves forced to spend thousands of dollars on private security contractors, advanced lighting and property repairs, try to keep their businesses viable in an increasingly unpredictable environment. This concentration of absolute destitution creates a quiet, dangerous emotional distance between citizens who share the same city. Trust between neighbors begins to weaken, replaced by a growing sense of frustration, helplessness, and anger. It is a stark reminder that homelessness is not an isolated individual failure. It is a community crisis. When we allow our most vulnerable neighbors to fall onto the pavement without a safety net, the warmth, stability, and connection of the entire city begins to fracture. Part 6. The Silent Soldiers, the Mobilization of Care. In the middle of this institutional breakdown and slow-moving government response, the survival of thousands of human beings on Philadelphia's pavements depends entirely on the relentless, daily mobilization of local grassroots organizations, street medics, and community volunteers. These are the silent soldiers of care, operating on the front lines where the rawest human suffering unfolds. The data from the front lines reveals the immense scale of this intervention. In a single recent fiscal year, organizations like Prevention Point Philadelphia recorded over 4,200 direct outreach interactions in Kensington and the surrounding neighborhoods, distributing clean clothing, food, wound care kits, and direct connections to emergency shelters. At the same time, Project Home's specialized street medicine teams engage with more than 6,000 unsheltered individuals across the expansive city every single year, bringing professional health care and long-term housing navigation directly to the pavement. These teams operate at the break of dawn under concrete overpasses, in the suffocating heat of summer afternoons along Kensington Avenue, and late into freezing winter nights. Staff and volunteers show out day after day, learning names, remembering birthdays, and quietly constructing a bridge of trust with a population that has been systematically abandoned by traditional institutions. They help people fill out complex housing forms on park benches, replace lost birth certificates, and celebrate small human victories like securing a state ID or making it to a first medical appointment. The true impact of this work goes far past numbers. When a person has spent years being treated like an eyesore or a public nuisance, an outreach worker who returns week after week without judgment becomes a life-saving anchor. They prove that consistent human connection is one of the most powerful tools against absolute isolation and despair. Operating on limited budgets and sheer determination, these organizations are the thin line between survival and death for thousands, proving that change does not start in City Hall. It starts when ordinary communities choose to look at the sidewalk and see a neighbor. Part 7. Beyond the Band-Aids, Real Structural Solutions. Philadelphia has arrived at a historic crossroads where short-term Band-Aids and emergency responses are no longer capable of containing the crisis. The city demands bold, practical, and permanent structural solutions that completely transition people from primal survival to permanent stability. According to municipal planning frameworks like the One Philly Initiative, administrators are working to add 1,000 new low-barrier shelter and supportive beds while pushing forward with long-term housing programs designed to build thousands of affordable units with built-in healthcare services. The absolute center of any effective path forward is the comprehensive implementation of the Housing First model. This strategy is built on a revolutionary but simple truth. You cannot successfully treat a severe mental illness, heal a deep chemical dependency, or help a person secure stable employment, while their baseline reality is finding a safe piece of dirt to sleep on. True stability begins when you hand an unhoused citizen a key to their own apartment, a private space with a door that locks, a functional kitchen, and a clean bathroom. Once the physical survival panic drops, the human nervous system can finally leave fight or flight mode, creating the space required for real, long-term rehabilitation. Permanent supportive housing models that combine a roof with on-site case managers, mental health counseling, and job coaching have been proven to reduce repeating homelessness by over 90% in cities that fully commit their financial resources to them. Philadelphia must expand these integrated units significantly and aggressively dismantle the bureaucratic red tape that keeps people trapped in short-term emergency loops. Beyond housing, real structural solutions demand the creation of 24-hour low-barrier drop-in centers, mobile wound clinics that bring healthcare directly to the encampments, and targeted employment pipelines for individuals returning to the workforce after years of survival on the street. The goal must shift from simply managing the visible symptoms of poverty to actively ending the displacement for thousands who carry the heavy exhaustion of a life without a home. Outro, the soul of the city. As the evening light begins to fade over the historic steeples of Philadelphia and the shadows deepen beneath the elevated tracks of Kensington Avenue, our long journey through this crisis comes to a close. The neon signs of the downtown commercial districts flicker on, while down on the concrete sidewalks, thousands of our neighbors are preparing to face another freezing night exposed to the elements. What remains written on the pavement of the city is a profound portrait of human endurance, sharing the exact same frame as systemic breakdown. The 5,500 human hearts surviving without shelter in Philadelphia tonight are holding on to a single, simple dream, a dream that is shared by human beings everywhere. It is a dream of a quiet room, a bed lifted off the hard ground, a door that locks the world out, and the peace of knowing you belong somewhere safe. This dream is not an extraordinary luxury. It is the baseline of human dignity. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for staying with us until the very final second of this continuous documentary on homeless U.S. news. In a digital world designed around rapid distraction, your decision to sit with this heavy, unfiltered truth from the first sentence to the last word carries real human weight. You are no longer just a passive viewer. You are a witness to the reality of your neighbors. If this journey through the paradox of Philadelphia has touched your heart, challenged your assumptions, or made you look at the streets of your own city with a little more kindness, please take a brief moment right now to smash that like button. It takes less than a second, but it tells the algorithm that deep, human-centered journalism matters, helping this video reach thousands of more minds who need to awaken to this truth. If you want to continue walking alongside us through the hidden corners of America and giving a powerful voice to those who have been silenced in the shadows, hit subscribe to Homeless U.S. News and turn on that notification bell. We are building a global community that refuses to look away from human suffering. We want to hear your voice. What part of this documentary hit you the hardest? Have you noticed this housing crisis shifting in your own hometown? Let's start an honest, deeply respectful conversation in the comments section below. We read every single thought you share. Let's keep our empathy alive, reject indifference, and remember that we're all much closer to each other than the world wants us to believe. Stay warm, stay safe, and we will see you in the next story on Homeless U.S. News.